Hi, I'm Humperdinck Jackman. I'm the Managing Director and founder of ESG PRO. We really do aim to simplify your ESG sustainability reporting. The most effective, refreshing approach to making your sustainability reporting honest, transparent, and affordable. We began in 2013 when I co-founded EuroBPO, and you'll find us trading as Causeway Connect. We're now 450 full-time multilingual employees servicing clients globally, from the banking sector through government departments and much, much more. So ESG reporting, it all began with the United Nations when they published their Sustainable Development Goals back in 2004-5. There's 17 of them. They're wide-ranging. They're very complex. And they're wonderful for governments, but they lack the detail. How do you actually get there? So with ESG, think of it as non-financial reporting data, which is your centralized point of being able to report on everything that is good about your organization, what you're doing to improve, how you are striving to meet these UN Sustainable Development Goals. It's where you put your carbon reporting data. It's where all of your CSR, corporate social responsibility efforts, all of this data belongs in your ESG report. Now, ESG focuses these days on double materiality. In other words, the impact your organization has on society, that's the people around you, the environment, everything, and equally the impact of society upon you. And if it's approached properly, this creates a transparency and honesty which adds value to your organization. So people around you, people looking in at your organization, know what you stand for, know what you're doing, and know where you're going. And it's using ESG reporting which actually helps you or enables you to meet the UN SDG objectives. Now, ESG is evidentiary based. It's what you do. It's a snapshot of your organization today. It's based on facts. And as we like to put it, it's about your honesty, integrity, and transparency. So, for example, people looking to invest in your business or to be employed by your business truly know what you stand for. But fact-based, evidence-based, these are the absolute keys to ESG reporting. And it's about risk, not very widely spoken about. But by being aware of the risks to your organization, addressing them thoroughly, and thereby mitigating them, you're adding value. So, as one client put it the other day, so your organization doesn't end up on the front page of the newspapers for the wrong reasons. There's been enough cases of that of late. So we digress, because the carbon question is not really carbon, is it? It's all of the greenhouse gases lumped under the name carbon. So there's a lot of businesses investing a lot of time and effort and money reporting on their carbon footprint, not just theirs, but of their supply chain. They're collecting data or analyzing it and hopefully making an action plan, because that's the whole point, how you're going to improve. And then there are the claims of carbon neutrality. And carbon neutrality is a complex field in its own right. But carbon neutrality doesn't come instantly. It's a huge amount of effort if done honestly and properly. It often involves purchasing carbon offsets. But most importantly, it's about verification to a recognized global standard, which we happen to believe the absolute gold standard of carbon neutrality verification is the BSI PAS 2060. All of this belongs in your ESG report. And actually, if you approach your ESG reporting properly, you actually find that by completing your carbon footprint reporting, with or without neutrality, you're a long way towards where you need to get to. But ESG is more than just pithy statements on your website, grand policies, beautiful web pages all painted in green, and your boasts about carbon neutrality. It's so much more than just sustainability. ESG is about, oh, it starts with the boardroom. If the board isn't on board, if the absolute executive of the organization doesn't believe in ESG and changing the organization for the greater good, then ESG will probably fail. And it needs good governance. And the governance at every level of the organization needs to be involving the stakeholders. And these might just be, in a smaller organization, your employees. But as the organization becomes bigger, how about the schools and universities feeding employees to join your firm, or your supply chain? There's a lot more to stakeholders to discuss, but this is really valuable information. By engaging with your stakeholders, again, you're raising the prestige of your organization, and of course, thereby enhancing the reasons why your various stakeholders should want to be part of your organization, whether a supplier, employee, whatever. All of this requires extensive communication, data collection, a lot of data measurement and analysis. And by bringing all of this together, you create opportunity and added value. Hence the iceberg. The iceberg, 9/10 of the effort is hidden from view. And so it is with sustainability. So there are a lot of benefits of ESG reporting, and I'm not going to read out every part of this PowerPoint to you. But the example which really excites me is when I see that, for instance, the City of London is placing a 30% weighting on supplier tenders, irrespective of whether it's a small SME all the way up to a PLC. When it comes down to it, it's not just your price and ability to supply this, that, and the other. 30% is weighted on environment, social, and governance. Of course, by proving yourself in this regard, you're far lower risk to banks, to venture capitalists, to angel investors, and thereby you're more readily going to attract green capital, the money. And we're going to come on to the money equation in a minute. And there is a huge amount of regulatory compliance, not just in place already, but coming downstream with the EU CSRD and the UK Sustainable Reporting Directive. And let's face it, the UK right now, as just one example, pretty well maximum employment, huge talent shortage where it counts. And if you actually want to attract the best talent, and don't we all, then you need to be presenting the right image to your candidates. Now, Gartner summed it up in 2021 by saying if 2010 to 2020 was a decade of digital transformation, 2020 to 2030 is all about society. Taking all of these components of ESG and CSR and doing something about it. And, well, Strategic Risk, what a great magazine. Warning everybody, be aware of your supply chain. The European rules for sustainable corporate governance are very, very strongly orientated towards making sure that you, all of us, know who we are dealing with. We have a social responsibility in this regard. This news extract from this year, 2022, highlighting that even small suppliers, retailers are actually terminating contracts with suppliers who don't meet the modern ESG standards. Confederation for British Industry saying that, look, ESG is fundamental to making money, not just today, but even in the future. And Assets Accounting, one of the UK's biggest accounting firms, highlight the risk of losing funding. This is so real. But the slide I really like is this one, also from 2022, where Forbes single out that there is a complexity to ESG reporting, and lots of data needs to be analyzed. And if you don't employ an ESG specialist, how are you actually going to succeed? But the problem is there aren't that many ESG specialists about. And one has to wonder, do you actually need full-time internal staff for something which is not your core business? And that's where we come in. This slide sums up why ESG Pro is a solution, both to governments and to PLCs, but also to SMEs. But before we go there, let's understand how ESG is built. It's all built upon so-called frameworks. There's somewhere in excess of 600 of them. Some of them are good. Many of them are absolute rubbish, but the absolute starting point for everybody is the Global Reporting Institute. It's entirely aligned with the United Nations SDGs, and it's non-profit, it's detailed, and it really gives you a solid foundation from wherever you happen to go. It doesn't matter the scale of your organization, from micro SME up to government. From there, most clients will progress to the Sustainability Accounting Standards Board, SASB, which is has a series of industry-specific frameworks, if you like. From there, depending on the nature of your organization, you might stop, you might be progressing on to TCFD, or looking at the EU supply chain standards, or it's a stock exchange standard. It's ever evolving. It's also worth pointing out at this point that at ESG Pro, we also develop standards for unique situations at a governmental level or below. Now we use multiple platforms for the recording and analysis of our client data, and our platforms are used globally. Not just the names you see on the screen, including the likes of Morgan Stanley, but also the World Bank. We're very, very proud of this acceptance. But our approach is so different from everybody else because by using the multiple platforms, ESG reporting platforms as we do, supporting all of the major frameworks, we go a step further and ensure that our clients, every client, gains an internationally recognized ESG rating. Not something produced by us, nothing on the back of an envelope, a genuine ESG rating like a Morningstar or a Fitch rating. This is a financial grade rating on a scale of a C through A and then triple C through triple A. And it's worth pointing out that even a grade B, just B on its own, is still good. ESG is not pass or fail. It's not a checkbox exercise. It's about facts. Now, the ESG Pro approach is that if you use our services as remote consultants to be your ESG sustainability champions throughout the duration of your reporting cycles, then you're going to complete your reporting up to 10 times faster than if you do it in-house. You're not going to have to scour around trying to recruit and then train consultants internally. And you're going to gain the best of all of the ESG reporting platforms. So we do leverage artificial intelligence to guide us and you as to what to report on and how and why. We're recording your evidential data, your records, your reporting data in a blockchain, so you end up with an immutable audit trail. And we're tying it all together with one of the leading legal case management systems, so there is an absolute record of every engagement, every touch point throughout the reporting process. So as we gather the data and analyze it and work with your teams, we're able to help your colleagues refine their answers, to help them through the reporting language, to distill what's fact and what is not fact, to look for the gaps, to build the action plans, which are so fundamental. An action plan is about what you're actually going to do. So you start with an ESG benchmark. This is where we are, snapshot of this quarter, and you build it up to a recurring sequence of reports showing your progress, and thereby enhance your rating. So we are your resource, your internal champions, driving every level of your organization to improve. And at the end point, you end up with a grading, numerical to begin with, then transferred into a normalized, quite a complex algorithm, weighing which country you're in, the industry you're in, the size of your organization, the risks, the nature of the industry, whether you're a pollution risk, and so on and so on. And we map your results against the UN SDGs, which you see on the top right. And then we produce the report. So is an example, in this case, it's our own report on us, where we're not just explaining to the reader how we derived, what data we reported on and why. We're also talking about what we do in the community, our social good, as you will with your business, innovations, projects, community. But the thing about an ESG report is all of these, if you like, parts of marketing fluff at the beginning, they're substantiated within the report itself. That is the difference between marketing fluff and an ESG report, evidence-based. And before I go on, I think it's very much worth highlighting that an ESG report should be in plain English. It shouldn't be riddled with management speak. It should be self-contained. Anybody should be able to read your ESG report and understand the values and the management approaches of your organization. As we work with our clients, you'll discover dedicated consultancy teams. You will work with your assigned consultants who will train your staff according to what they need. They'll create bespoke company policies and statements to go on your website. Enhance your internal corporate governance. Advise you when you need to, for instance, create a risk management team internally. Not everybody needs this, but when you do, how? And as you progress, then, this is our approach, then when you're ready, consider deploying software internally, because now you've got the data in and you know how it should be working, then you're going to make far more use of any ESG reporting software. And as you progress, we audit the data you're providing, and we're coming back to you and we're saying, well, look, this is not quite good enough. This needs substantiation. Expand on this. And so it goes on. And we help create the right language for the report. And we work with our clients on multi-year agreements because ESG reporting is not a do it once and dust it off in 3 years' time. It is a recurrent non-financial reporting cycle, which one generally aims to publish ESG reports concurrently with your annual accounts. But we really do stand out at ESG Pro because we have seen that anybody, any organization, can secure their first rating in 90 days. It might not be, it's not going to be a AAA rating, we know that. But it's not going to be a bad rating because ESG is not pass or fail. So by getting you started with a 90-day fast track, fast start program, all of that time and effort you've invested already in being a good organization, you're going to capitalize on it. Now, we don't charge extra fees for securing your ESG rating, and our goal is to help our clients become sustainability certified. We use this multi-platform back end, as I've already discussed, supplemented with artificial intelligence, blockchain, and a case management system, so you know, and your clients know, and we know that yours really is a quality organization. And that's it in terms of introducing ESG Pro. I just wanted to introduce us